So one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, what are 3 or a few of my favorite women's supplements? And while there are so many good supplements on the market and so many good ones that we carry, I also am a firm believer in just taking what your body really needs. I don't think we have to take, tons of things all day long. However, I've gone over this a lot. I do think that our soil is very depleted. I do think the average diet in America is devoid of nutrients. And I do think that we generationally have just had more toxin exposure. So all those things lead us to needing more nutrients than I think we needed in previous generations. What I like to look at when I'm looking at supplements is building a foundation. So I don't ever want to, necessarily treat an issue. I want to get to the root cause. And by getting to the root cause, we have to look at what deficiencies are very common because of our diet and because of the amount of toxins we're exposed to. So I'm going to start with my first one. And you guys have heard us talk a lot about this single mineral called magnesium. Magnesium, does over 300 different chemical reactions within the body. It's responsible for our nervous system support. It's responsible for giving our body enough of the precursor to make GABA, which GABA then helps us fall asleep at night. It's helpful in balancing out our blood pressure system. It's helpful in cognitive function. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with magnesium. That's why this is a total non-negotiable for me. I will never go without magnesium. I've been in love with BioOptimizer's brand of magnesium. This is a powder. I get a little bit of pill fatigue from the different pills I take, so if I can mix it up with a yummy powder, I want to do that. This company is so unique because it actually mixes all the different types of magnesium into one powder. So there's 8 different forms, you could say. There's a magnesium carbonate, bisglycinate, a magnesium oxide, a magnesium malate, tartrate, citrate. I mean, I've never seen a magnesium personally with this high of quality ingredients that taste good and has that many forms of magnesium. So when people are shopping our aisles, they're generally looking for, what's the best magnesium? Should I take this form versus that form? This one is very practitioner grade. This company really works one-on-one with practitioners, and we're thankful that we get to sell it at our store, and it's such a high quality. So that's going to be my nighttime routine, like an hour before bedtime. It's a scoop of this and a little bit of water, and I'm good to go. Another absolute foundational supplement is fish oil. So, our hormones are synthesized through fat in our body. Our brain, our neurotransmitter requires fat. Our system, our communication between our cells, every single cell has that phospholipid fatty layer around the cells, all requiring fat. Now, unless you're eating fish every day, unless you're eating, sardines and salmon and anchovies and all these things, of which I could almost guarantee there is nobody that eats that every day, probably not even 2 to 3 times a week, then you're not going to have enough omega-3s. And no, walnuts and cashews and all of that is not going to be enough either. There's very little omega-3s in that. There's more omega-6, and then the conversion of all of that over to omega-3s is very low. So I'm a huge fan of daily supplementation of fish oil. You want a high quality brand. Just like I've said before, the fat inside of animals, that goes for beef, that goes for fish, the fat is where the toxins are going to accumulate. So it is very important you choose a clean sourced fish oil, because that's going to be where the toxins are also found. So you want to have one that, or you want to find one that has a lot of third-party testing. This one does, True Grace. You want to find one that's in primarily the triglyceride form. Some people may think of triglyceride as a negative word when it comes to cholesterol, but it's not. It's also, cholesterol is an antioxidant that we were kind of misinformed about. I think people think of it as bad, but it actually has so many beneficial properties as long as you keep it in a healthy range. But this form of fish oil is going to be easier to break down and turn into a usable form in your body. This comes from wild Alaskan pollock, tested for heavy metals. I take 2 a day. Sometimes I'll take upwards of 4, depending on how my diet's been, but that's another non-negotiable. If you question whether you have enough omega-3s in your diet, you can actually get a blood test now to show your omega-3 content. I think you'd be really, really shocked. And please, if you are a pregnant mama, please take fish oil. Please, please, please. I would say upwards of 1,000 milligrams a day of omega-3s. I love this tonic. So this is a brand that we're honored to carry called Earthly Wellness. Earthly Wellness is a herbal formulated line. So everything they're doing is basically using herbs and things from nature, things that have been grown on the earth. And so this is a very unique concept. They are actually using dandelion, red raspberry leaf, catnip, spearmint, nettle leaf, alfalfa, and then it's in a vegetable glycerin base and some water to be almost like nature's multivitamin. Now, I do take another multivitamin. I'm big into the ancestral supplements, so I'm more of the beef liver and the that way of getting my nutrients. However, I love this concept, and I will do this off and on throughout the year. So the idea from a lot of herbalists that I very highly respect and people in the community that use herbs, the idea is that herbs can give us what we need, that herbs are going to give us our minerals that are readily available. I've done a lot of studying under Susan Weed, and she is a huge believer that these specific herbs provide minerals and vitamins that are very usable to a female body. So dandelion's going to help with detoxing extra estrogen from your liver. Spearmint's going to help on balancing out testosterone levels. Nettle leaf is very rich in antioxidants. It's also high in magnesium, which is really cool. I still wouldn't go without my magnesium, but I think this is another additional way to get it. And the red raspberry leaf is very balancing for our uterus and for hormones in general for women. I've had really good feedback on this product. So these are my 3 go-to supplements for women. And if you have not tried one of 3, I would definitely start with magnesium. I would do second fish oil. And then lastly, I would try this for a hormone balancing effect for females.